All right. Welcome back to Riven, everybody. I got so many nudges. Oh, and I didn't even write down people's names. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not very prepared today. Thank you so very much for all of the lovely nudges. Okay. Trying to remember. I know I need to go back. Jen's little viewing camera thing. That looks at the village lagoon. Was one of them. Because, and I noticed this time, or last time, pardon me. It's not here. Which desk was it? This desk. The scope in his survey room, which is that ostentatious throne, where we get to see the whale dude. I can't remember what it's called. I think, is it work? I know one of you guys said it in the comments a couple episodes ago. And he has watched people swim out to the small object that appeared to be floating but anchored near the entrance to the bay. And then it was returned, and so we're looking for this guy. And it'll be, we might be able to see it from the viewer. But I'm pretty sure. Why can we look at that part of the desk? That's weird. And I don't think we need anything in here, actually. Well, unless he talks about the fire marbles. That's the Lincoln crystal. Floating water. These are the Moiety knives. I think I'm saying that right. I might not be saying that right. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But that's the rebel dagger they used to signal. Spirit sightings, Black Moiety, that's the dome code. Yeah, so each of these links to each island. Does it talk about the fire marbles? I've succeeded in modifying the fire marbles to generate enough power, hold a descriptive linking book, and a stable mate. I think we just have to get the gold dome actually like hooked up with the rainbow marbles. There's something about that ink pot that looks funny to me. Oh, we can climb back up. That's funny. We don't need to. Okay. So... I think I need to go this way. Oh, guys, did you see the video released? Cyan Worlds released a little teaser with some actual gameplay from the new Riven. I linked it. I linked it in the last video. I'll link it again in this one. But they've released a little bit of the new gameplay, and it's so pretty. They released the video. There we go. They released the video after I had already recorded, so I didn't get to actually talk about it in the last video. But I linked it in that description, and I'll link it in this one. I'm very excited. They've also released a little excerpt from some interviews where they've talked about some of the new characters, some of the new actors. Looks like some of the puzzles are going to be... they've tweaked some of the puzzles. And maybe added some new ones? Either way, I'm very excited. Okay. Now, this is the camera feed from that little spyglass that's in the middle of the... I'm not convinced that I'm going to be able to see anything very clearly. Got such a fisheye lens to it. Oh, right there. My goodness, guys. I didn't see this. I don't think I saw it in the original play I did either. The original playthrough. I don't know. That's it, isn't it? It's gotta be it. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So what? It kind of looks like a fish. But I don't know, is it meant to be seen from Gen's perspective like this? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That's the bridge. Let's go take a look at it from... Let's go take a look at it in its own location. I feel like I'm waiting for the bus. For a terrifying moment, my brain expected to see somebody in that transport. I'm glad it was wrong. Okay. So one of the other nudges you guys gave me had to do with this guy. Oh my gosh. How did I not? Well, that's very convenient. So. Was it this? It was. It was right here somewhere. Over here. There. Is that it? I think that's it. They've been consistently animal shapes. Not seeing shape. That is it, isn't it? Waves are over top of it. I can't see properly. Is there a way? Yeah, maybe I can. Where was I? Okay. I feel like I should be able to see it. So it's for the villagers. So it's gotta be somewhere where they see it. Unless it is the fish shape? I mean, I guess it could be. Can't see. That is. Can't really see anything from this angle. I might be irritated with me for dunking their things. Well, the closest thing I saw from this camera was that fish shape, which I don't... Maybe that is it? Like it's not. But I can trial and error. I don't see any other animal shapes happening here. Like we've got... Yeah. Not seeing it, guys. Like if we come... This almost kind of looks like a buffalo jumping or a capybara. Because of the legs. We don't have anything to be an eye. Yeah. Okay. Well, we can guess. No, up, please. In we go. Is it this way? No. It is not this way. This doesn't make an animal shape either, does it? It does not. Okay. Kind of looks like this one, maybe? Let's try it. So that was one. And then the beetle. And then froggy. The froggy? Don't think it's this one. And then my plesiosaur buddy. And then whale buddy. that was super cool, and I have chills. That's the Lincoln crystal. Okay. Here we go. I have chills, guys. They got me. I don't remember this stuff. I've been kidnapped by the rebels. He's hoping we go to kill. Okay. Okay, that's where I came from. Tiny little cell. Fire marble. I kind of love that there's all these little, yeah, little cocoon tree houses. Nothing I can do. I don't have linking.
Katrina e now da saya palo. Yapa ay manay yalepo. Meu tisay. Bekaretere wirape yelo kene falapo. Tisay. Why te fulupe?
She said Catherine. Okay. Booklet looks like it's listed to me. I linked to Riven a week ago. Smell the place overwhelmed me moments before I could see anything. With my sight only partially cleared, I stood motionless, peering ahead through a dim veil which was slowly lifting. There was a violent clang, and he appeared. I remember breathing. I can't read that word. I remember breathing slowly and very deeply, testing the familiar Riven air, but not recognizing a thing. I must have been hit with the dart right away. I thought it was an insect bite at first, trying to remember it all, but it's difficult. Maybe because of the drug. There was a voice. A man I did not recognize stood before me. Rivenese, though he was wearing dunny dress. He seemed to be talking to me, but the poison was already taking effect. A shadow crept in, and I fell asleep. Then there were many voices, but I understood none of them, like hundreds of people whispering. I couldn't wake up. No matter. The dream did end. And now, to be here with Etty. It's been so many years. I didn't realize how much I missed her, like a piece of me that I'd forgotten I'd lost. She's beautiful and so full of warmth. But the years have also left her with a wound which is not there when we were children. I do wish you were more interested. It seems like... I write quickly from my prison. Nilak will return your book, which the Moiety intercepted upon your arrival. After questioning her, I've concluded that it was written by Atris for a very specific purpose. Gen will desire to use it, although he may have suspicions. If you can find my prison, you will still need the combination to release me. Gen keeps it in his office. Then, I assume... then... Signal. Then I assume we're to signal Atris. I think I know how it might be done, but don't signal him before I am released, Catherine. Do wish you were more interested. It seems like I'm asking all the questions. It's awkward. No one asks me where I've been or what I've been doing. This hurts, but I understand it. Their beliefs are born out of ignorance and depression. They were gentle. They're gentle people, but they've had their nest destroyed, and now they frantically cling to anything that might serve them. But why have they chosen to cling to me? I'm confused. As a child, I always felt out of place here. I never belonged. They misunderstood me, and I couldn't relate to them. But now I'm overwhelmed by an intense feeling that I owe everything to them and this place. I thought I would never see them again, and yet I'm here. I've been given a second chance, but a second chance at what? Saving them? Fulfilling their prophecies? Being their savior? That's an interesting doodle. The Moiety. Atris would want me to chronicle all that I've learned. I can at least record some of it. It seems that when Atris and I trapped again on Riven many years ago, our efforts were witnessed by most of the inhabitants here. Two of the Rivenese even witnessed the confrontation with Gen at the fissure, where I linked back to Myst and where Atris threw himself into the abyss. Of course, they understood little of what they were seeing, but they somehow were able to grasp that, guess that we had won. That Gen was no god at all, but only a feeble impostor, a false god, and that we had trapped him here on Riven. I always hoped they would believe, or accept, no, believe maybe, this simple truth, but their further conclusions have astonished me. Atris had stripped again of his power. Therefore, Atris must be a true god. As a god, he was choosing me, the spiritual misfit from a Rivenese womb, to be his wife. I was transcending into deity and would lord over Riven forever. Thus the Moiety, as they called themselves, were born of a dissident society, sworn enemies of Gen. I did not know of their beliefs regarding Atris and myself until 2 days ago. Etty was, for some reason, hesitant to tell me. I can't figure out why. I know she doesn't believe these things. Of course, everyone else assumed that I would be aware of my own god status, so they made no effort to inform me. I only realized it at a recent gathering to which I was invited. I sat at the front of a dimly lit and crowded cave as they told a mythical story of my own life, acting out the battle between Atris, myself, and Gen at the edge of the fissure. The events had been exaggerated into grandiose proportions. It was offensive. I was unable to stop it. I was unable to break the illusion which is the very foundation of their hope and purpose, and which has given them courage to band together and rebel against Gen. Since then, I've learned of other doctrines and beliefs that have evolved, the most disturbing of which is the conviction that one day I would return to Riven to free them. Some believe that I will overthrow Gen. Others believe that I will bring them to paradise. I don't know how to deal with this. I fight it myself. I love these people, my only real kindred, but they will not love me as an equal, which hurts me. I would rather be their slave than their master. Over the years, as Gen's power has become greater and greater, the Moiety's numbers have grown, and they've become more and more adept at hiding themselves. They now live in a complex network of caves that he still has not discovered. The Moiety, for the most part, have completely severed their relationship with any of the Rivenese that chose against joining them. But I hope they've not sacrificed vital limbs in order to remove the cancer. Even Father and Errant, are still on the surface in Gen's domains, and I long to see them. But a dimness shrouds Eddie's face every time I've mentioned them. Since this break took place, they've interfered with the surface in superficial ways, occasionally sabotaging one of Gen's constructions or stealing food from the villagers. They wear strange masks and costumes during their short forays to the island's surface and take this regalia very seriously, refusing to be seen by anyone outside the Moiety unless they were properly attired. They get much pleasure out of the fact that those on the surface are frightened by these costumes, calling them evil spirits or ghosts. It was during one of these expeditions that they fortuitously rescued me from one of Gen's guards when I first appeared on the island. Otherwise, I'm sure I would have been delivered to Gen immediately. I've no doubt that he's now searching for me. Of course, I'm now aware that I was fooled. Atris is not here. I was at first devastated by this realization. Now, I'm thankful. He would be in extreme peril here. Also, there's a quiet inner voice, an echoing remnant that wants him far away. I have just witnessed an age dying, gasping its last breath. Today I ventured to the surface to see what has become of this island. I hoped it would not be as bad as the Moiety had reported. It was worse. They've become slowly accustomed to its steady decay, but I was devastated. The lips from which the kiss is wrought as fallen words will fall cold breath. The womb from which the cry released has suffered hurt will suffer death. To get to the surface, we had to travel through a complex series of doors and passages. Before the last of these doors, they offered me a weapon, which I accepted, and then a mask. I held the mask in my hands for a while, wondering what sort of terror it might invoke in those members of my family who still live on the surface. But I also knew that I must keep my identity hidden from Gen's ever-vigilant eye, so I accepted it as well. Then together, we swam a short expanse and emerged out of the surface of the ocean under a rocky overhang. The harsh sunlight made my eyes sting, but the fresh, rich air was exhilarating. After these past weeks in the dank caves, the two men with me were silent, communicating only with hand signals. The three of us emerged from our hiding place and made our way to the top of the plateau. At the edge of the thick and overgrown area of the forest, they stopped, peered through the foliage for a moment, and then turned to me as if waiting my command. But could not respond, in fact. I found it difficult to move. I was smelling, hearing, and breathing my youth. This swept over me in a matter of seconds, but in seconds more, all feeling was gone. There was numbness. We did not stay long on the surface, but it was long enough to see the worst. Riven, which was once an island, is split apart into 5 distinct pieces, about a half-mile apart. 4 of these have been claimed by Gen as his exclusive domain. Only his ministers and personal militia are ever allowed access to them. From my vantage point at the edge of the forest, I could see 3 of these islands. They're stripped of their former beauty and riddled with Gen's self-absorbed constructions. The Moiety rarely visit these closely guarded places. There's another island which I could not see, as it has evidently crept away to a terrific distance. The Moiety are very unclear as to what exists on this island, except for the fact that they know it's where the great tree used to exist. The forest is located on the island that the surface dwellers in the Moiety still refer to as Riven. But they also still refer to their entire world as Riven. This island is where the village is, which has changed dramatically. It's also the one remaining province of the people, though Gen's influence can be seen everywhere. So that's the map island. This is the jungle. And this is the rooms with the great golden dome. This is the one that has his lab or his lookout. Of course, I know the reason for the fracturing of the island. The Moiety do not. Gen wrote this place, and it will die as all of Gen's ages eventually die. I feel nothing today. I am nothing. I live in a cave on a dying world inhabited by people that they're treating me so strangely. They don't know how to relate to a god. I'm still an outcast here. They whisper amongst themselves, talking of my bravery during my excursion to the surface, how I walked across the island bold and unafraid. They don't know me. Even Eddie is uncomfortable around me. At times there's no awkwardness, and I'm only Katrin to her. But at other times I'm something else. I'm afraid. There's such a great numbness inside of me. Today I do not feel closeness with my people. Neither am I offended by their worship of me. I do not hate Gun. I don't feel anything. not even sure of what it was crossed out. At least Neela is still close. This is the Myst Island Library. No, that's the number 5. That's Riven. I am boiling. I am blank. Gen is making and writing books. I wish they'd told me sooner. Atris should have realized this would happen. Of course, Gen would have written all of the materials necessary to the Dani craft of making books into this age, and probably every other age he ever wrote. He's attempting to write his way out of here. We did not imprison him. We only delayed him. This age has become his factory, and the people are his machines, all laboring in his mad pursuit to become a god, to carry on his noble Dani cause. So far, he's not been able to produce a fully functional book. Atris has never believed in destiny, but I don't know what else to call it. It's too perfect. It's too much of a coincidence. They hang on my every word. They don't understand them. I am their hope, and now I have returned. I owe this to them. There's no choice. That's the Starfisher telescope. It has been a long time since my last entry. It's hard to recognize, but I have found the Starfisher. It is located on the island which the Rivenese calls Aleppo, meaning water pool, but which is referred to by the Moiety as Alatrum, meaning pool of stars. Having since allowed Atris to escape this age without leaving an open door behind us, it has since been sealed with the skin of heavy iron. A crude telescope has been mounted over a locked viewport, the combination to which was acquired by the Moiety before my arrival. Let's write this one down. Where's my pen? Pen. Star Fisher. So that's a 4, 1, 4, 5. Okay. In the early days, the Moiety, seeking an escape from Riven, briefly pursued the idea of reopening the fissure. They discovered a small mechanical stop to prevent the scope from hitting the portal window. Ultimately, however, they decided against opening it. I hate to think what would have happened to them if they had not left it alone. I've instructed them to stay away from it. I'm almost certain that with the decayed state of the islands, opening the fissure now would be disastrous. I've heard that in the days immediately following Gen's confinement on Riven, he attempted to determine the feasibility of navigating the stars beneath the fissure, for he had seen the Myst book fall from Atris's hands into that very same space. To this end, he would have people, allegedly transgressors of the law, thrown into it, so that he could observe their fate. The telescope, which still stands there, is one he had built for these Alice experiments. It is said that they did not die, but what became of them remains a mystery. It appears that the limits of Gen's optics prevented him from learning their fate. The star field beneath the fissure is not as it seems. It is a gentle space, as hospitable to life as a flowing river. This is how Atris explained it after he'd fallen into it. But much more than that, we've never understood, and we were never able to conclude from its origins, but the visions tell me that it was born out of the will of the Maker, perhaps for some greater purpose that we cannot yet understand. I still remember Atris's words from his journal. I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse. There must be some greater reason behind it. I neglected to mention it earlier, the unique shape of one of the great daggers which appeared during our escape from Riven. The very dagger that stands vertically at one end of the Elatrine, the island, has been adopted by the Moiety as the symbol of their cause. It is a sacred symbol for them. It's a representation of all of their doctrine and their representation of me. To deface this symbol is sacrilege. They have their own mythical explanation regarding its sudden origins. I haven't told them that I wrote it into this age, along with all the other daggers. It's strange how such a young religion can be so unbending, even to their own god. I've tried to dissuade them of the notion that symbols contain so much power. The enemy uses this paranoia against them. They're fearful of Gen's symbol and are terrored by his symbols, by his symbolic use of the work. It is work. But they don't want to hear this from me. Perhaps my attempts have even caused some of the younger members of the Moiety to doubt that I am Catherine. My rare encounters with those who say they follow Gen have been discouraging. I've hoped to have some connection with the surface villagers, but they always flee from me. But I have heard news of some of the villagers' beliefs regarding Gen. Soon after we trapped Gen on Riven, he claimed that he was responsible for the daggers, placing them around the island as a reminder of their failure. In the village circles, it's told that this was a punitive act performed by Gen to mark the beginning of a period of restitution, at the end of which, if they have proven their devotion to him, they will be delivered into a new and better existence. I will continue to try to reach them. The door is open. Gen is free. Gen has the ability to create working books. In fact, he had written one age before I arrived, but has kept this accomplishment so well hidden that only his closest ministers were aware until now. I'm not sure. Perhaps he's written others. Other news, a few years ago, before the Moiety were forced into hiding, one of them managed to steal what appeared to be a test book that Gen had intended to destroy. It had been partially written, but did not work. They didn't tell me about it until now because they thought it was useless. Back then, none of Gen's books worked, but instead of correcting the problem at its source, he blamed it on the impure wood of the Riven forest and proceeded to engineer a cumbersome mechanical remedy, a complex series of domes to heal his book's inherent flaws. One of the consequences of this crude solution, however, was that the domes demanded huge amounts of energy, and the related problems delayed his success for quite some time. At last, however, he finished his work and was finally able to link to an age, but he kept his success extremely well hidden. However, for some reason or another, belligerent pride, he's made modifications to the domes which make it obvious that he's using the domes to breathe life into his half-dead books. Perhaps he means to lure us into using the books in the domes. He can't believe that we would blindly swallow his suicidal. I'm having trouble with that word. But he wouldn't know that we have one of his books, the stolen burnt book. There's a possibility of, that's crossed out, have read burnt book. Age it describes would be unsuitable as new home for the Moiety, must be modified. I will dream. Have requested a group to solve combination that will open the domes. Once open, we can power the burnt book. I do not think Gen will interfere. He will leave the bait. I've begun writing the Moiety's Age, now must acquire a second book from Gen. There is tension. A strain blurs my vision and nightmares. Nayla and Eddie stay close. Much has happened, almost everything is prepared. We've stolen another book, but I'm concerned Gen will miss it. We've also discovered the combination for entering the domes, but we have not discovered the method for powering them. By powering our burnt book with Gen's domes, we'll be able to link to this age, but we will only have access to the domes for a short time before we are discovered. Therefore, we can only use the domes once. I must find another way to make the books work. The gateway image in Gen's book and our burnt books all seem to share the same thickness. If they're not powered, the images are blank. It might be possible to clear the vision with only... We'll write substance into the Moiety Age. All is ready. Now all we can do is wait for word from Moiety-esque, who are on the lookout for Gen to power and use the domes. When he does that, we will have access to one of Gen's domes just long enough. After linking to the age which I've written, I only have to locate the book window substance and refine or adapt it. Laying this window over the gateway image should heal the books and make them work. This will allow me to use the second stolen book and return to Riven with more of the book windows. We will then no longer have to rely on Gen's clumsy domes. I laugh at these plans. I sound like Atris. I'm risking my life, but I feel no fear, only anxiety. Perhaps it is the source of my nightmares. The fissure, like a great wound, is opened. It stains the Riven's soil with blood. I hold the Moiety knife. The voices grow so loud. For their part, the Moiety have complete faith that I will accomplish my task and lead them to a better world. It is the fulfillment of their prophecy, but they're also fearful and tense. I don't know what they will think or do if I fail. It is done. It seems too good to be true. I feel like it's all still a dream. We have already evacuated all of the Moiety to this new age. It is beautiful, and I am pleased. At last, my people will live in safety and comfort. They stand under the bare sky, unafraid, and dazzled by their freedom. They are happy. They have named it Tay. There's still much to be done. We're not protected yet. The only way to completely safeguard this place is to destroy the book which links to here from Riven. I do not even know how to bring this up to the Moiety. They'll be extremely reluctant about destroying their only link to Riven. I share this hesitation. I'd be cutting off my only connection. But for their sake, it must be done. I'm anxious to know if our activities have roused Gen's suspicions. If so, we must act quickly. Even so, I feel that now we are impregnable. Tomorrow I will return to Riven to see Gen's reaction for myself. Tonight, I finally rest. Okay, so that would have been when she got captured. Let's go back to the note she gave us. I have spent a lot of this episode reading her journal to you guys. Okay, I write quickly from my prison. Neela will return your book which the Moiety intercepted upon your arrival. So that's the trap book that looks like it goes to Danny. After questioning her, I've concluded that it is written by Atris for a very specific purpose. Gen will desire to use it, although he may have suspicions. If you can find my prison, you will still need the combination to release me. Gen keeps it in his office, which is in the New Age. Then I assume we're to signal Atris. I think I know how it might be done, but don't signal him before I'm released. Okay.
Sira po. Ibuko mo buko wisipo. Na vene. Tapo mo revene beno. Now, Katerina ne. Wisifa polo yai sepe yai.
Okay, so I'm going back. And I've got the trap book. I'm going to end it here because we've already gone quite long. So, well, we got through to the Moiety Age. What do they call it? Tay? So that's fun. Thanks for your help for getting here, guys. And now we actually have to go trap Gen, which we will do next episode, hopefully. Thanks so much for your help. I hope you have a lovely evening. Please feel free to leave your thoughts and your comments. And if you've watched the new Riven teaser, I would love to hear your thoughts on how the new Riven is going to be looking. I'll catch you next time.